Imagine this. You just took your last breath. You float above your body, and a warm tunnel of light appears. Your grandmother who passed years ago is smiling, waving you in. Every cell in your soul screams, finally home. But what if that perfect, loving light is the biggest trap humanity has ever faced? What if walking in means you lose everything, your memories, your power, your freedom forever? In the next 30 minutes I'm going to prove it, and I'll give you the exact words that can set your soul free for good. One sentence coming up in the next 2 minutes is the most dangerous truth most people will ever hear. Miss it, and nothing else in this video will make sense. Right now, billions of people believe dying is beautiful. They've been told the light is God, heaven, peace. But hidden texts older than the Bible say the opposite. Ancient Tibetan lamas spent their entire lives preparing monks for death. They warned, do not follow bright lights or smiling relatives. The Gnostic Gospels, buried for 2,000 years, call the light a fake copy run by beings who farm human souls. These texts were banned, burned, and called heresy, exactly because they exposed the trap. You've probably heard someone say, my dad saw grandma and walked into the light, he looked so happy. That story feels comforting, until you learn why it happens to almost everyone. In 1975, a monk in Tibet was declared dead for 18 hours. Villagers prepared the body. Suddenly he gasped and sat up. He screamed. They showed me my mother, but her eyes were wrong. I turned away and something tried to pull me by force. He spent the rest of his life teaching one sentence. Refuse the light. Your soul is not weak. It's being hunted with the most perfect trick in existence. If this already feels unsettling, hit the like button right now. It tells YouTube to wake more people up. Here's what almost nobody talks about. Thousands of people who ignored the light came back and told the exact same terrifying story. Stay with me, because what they saw on the other side of that no will shock you even more. You've heard the stories 1,000 times. Person dies on the operating table, floats up, feels total peace, then comes back saying, death is nothing to fear. But what if every single one of those beautiful stories is actually evidence of the trap working perfectly? Doctors have recorded over 20 million near-death experiences. The pattern is almost identical worldwide. First, darkness. Then a tunnel. Then an explosion of warm, loving light. Deceased relatives appear younger, healthy, glowing. A being of light radiates unconditional love. You feel zero pain, total forgiveness, and the strongest pull you've ever felt. Many people cry when they're sent back, begging to stay. Scientists call it the brain releasing DMT. The beings in charge call it harvest time. If you lost someone you love, the idea of seeing them again in that light feels like the only thing that makes death okay. Pam Reynolds, 1991. Brain surgery, legally dead for 45 minutes. Body cooled to 60 degrees Fahrenheit, flat EEG. She floated out, watched the surgeons, heard conversations. Then the tunnel. Her uncle who died when she was a child appeared, took her hand. He walked her toward the light. At the edge she felt overwhelming love. She said later, I would have followed him anywhere, but something inside me suddenly screamed a no. She resisted, and everything changed. That feeling of perfect love isn't a gift. It's bait. Here's the part most people completely miss. Every single person who says, I refused and turned away, reports the love instantly disappeared, and the real faces showed up. You're about to discover where this go into the light idea was planted on purpose, and who did it. Most people get this next part totally wrong. Stay with me. If the light is a trap, why does almost every religion, movie, and New Age teacher tell us to run straight into it? Who decided that was the official story? The answer will make your skin crawl. For thousands of years, the real death manuals, the Tibetan Book of the Dead, the Egyptian Book of the Dead, the Gnostic Gospels, all gave the exact same warning. Bright lights and dead relatives are illusions. Turn away. Then something changed. In the 1970s, 3 best-selling books exploded. Life After Life by Raymond Moody, Embraced by the Light by Betty Eadie, and Saved by the Light by Danielle Brinkley. Suddenly the light became beautiful, safe, and God. By the 1990s, Oprah, Coast to Coast AM, and Hollywood were repeating the same script. Today 9 out of 10 people believe the tunnel is heaven. That flip from avoid the light to embrace the light happened in less than 20 years. You grew up with movies showing ghosts happily flying into glowing white portals. It felt normal. We were all trained. In 1945, a U.S. soldier named George Ritchie died of pneumonia. He came back claiming Jesus himself walked him toward a bright city of light. The story spread through churches. Decades later, under hypnosis, he remembered something he had blocked. The Jesus figure had no face at first, just a blank oval. When he asked, "Who are you really?" the figure got angry and the light turned cold. He was forced back into his body. He never told the churches that part. The most popular near-death stories weren't accidents. They were marketing. Here's what nobody wants to admit. The same beings who run the light also run the cover-up. And they've been using human authors, channels, and movies to sell you the lie for the last 50 years. Next, you're going to see exactly how the recycling machine works, and why your permission is the only thing keeping you trapped. What comes next might change how you see every single lifetime you've ever lived. You feel love bigger than anything on earth. You walk into the light, and everything you are gets erased. Welcome to the soul recycling factory nobody is supposed to remember. Thousands of people under deep hypnosis, Dolores Cannon, Calogero Grafassi, and over 10,000 recorded sessions, describe the exact same process. Step 1. The tunnel sucks you in. Step 2. Fake relatives hug you and say, "You still have karma, you have to go back." Step 3. A council of elder beings shows you a movie of your life and makes you feel guilty for every tiny thing. Step 4. They hand you a contract. Sometimes it literally looks like a glowing scroll or screen, and they ask you to agree to return. If you say yes, white flash, memory wipe, new baby body. Cycle repeats. They call this lush farming. Your fear, pain, and drama are the energy they harvest. The love you feel in the tunnel? It's artificial, like a drug to make you sign the contract. Think about how many times you've heard someone say, "I chose to come back for my kids." That wasn't a choice. That was manipulation wearing the face of your kids. A woman in hypnosis remembered standing in front of the council. They showed her future lives full of suffering. She started crying and said, "I don't want to go back." One of the beings leaned forward, voice suddenly ice cold. "You agreed before you were born." She screamed, "I revoke all agreements." The entire room glitched like a broken hologram. The loving masks fell off. She saw gray faces with black eyes. They started shouting, "Grab her." She ran into pure darkness and woke up in her body shaking. Your soul is not a student here to learn lessons. It's a battery being recharged with trauma, then sent back for another round. Here's the part that will turn your stomach. They can't force you. They need your yes. That's why the trap is wrapped in love instead of chains. One single no collapses their entire game. In the next section you're going to meet the people who said that no. And what they saw when the masks finally dropped will make you question every feel-good near-death story you've ever heard. Stay with me, this is where it gets wild. What happens when someone actually refuses the light? Most people think you just float in darkness forever. The truth is 1,000 times stranger and more hopeful. Over the last 40 years, regression hypnotists have collected identical reports from people who said no. The loving relatives instantly vanish. The warm light turns cold and blue-white, like a fluorescent prison bulb. Some hear screaming, alarms, or a loud buzzing like the system is crashing. Many see a grid of green or purple lines surrounding Earth, like a giant net. When they push past it, they meet real beings of pure golden white light who never ask for contracts. These beings are shocked we fell for the trick again. The sessions from Dolores Cannon, Calogero Grafassi, and hundreds of independent therapists match word for word across countries and decades. You've probably never heard these stories because the people who come back refusing the light don't get book deals or TED Talks. They get called crazy. A Brazilian man under hypnosis remembered dying in a car crash. His dead mother appeared, smiling. He felt the pull. Then he remembered something from a dream years earlier. "Don't trust the light," he shouted. "I do not consent." His mother's face melted into a gray mask with huge black eyes. The tunnel collapsed. He shot past a glowing grid and suddenly stood in pure blackness filled with stars. A voice, not words, just knowing, said, "Welcome home, child. You are finally free. You are not alone. Thousands before you broke the cycle and lived to tell it." Here's the twist nobody expects. The second you refuse, the fake beings panic. They threaten, they beg, they even pretend to be God. That reaction proves everything. Next, you're going to discover exactly what those panic beings do when you stand your ground, and why some of them will try every trick in the book to drag you back in. What comes next might be the most empowering thing you've ever heard. You say a no. The love disappears in a split second. What happens next is the moment the entire system loses control. Every single person who refuses reports the same sequence. First, the fake relatives morph. Faces melt, eyes go black, mouths stretch too wide. Some turn into tall gray beings, others into shadow insects or reptilian shapes. They start yelling, threatening hell, pain, or you'll be alone forever. A few try one last trick. They shapeshift into Jesus, Buddha, an angel, whatever you believed in. If you keep saying, "I do not consent, take me to the true source," the tunnel collapses. The grid around Earth cracks open like glass. You shoot out into pure infinite blackness filled with real stars. Real loving beings appear. No demands, no contracts, just pure welcome. Imagine finally seeing the bullies behind the mask and realizing they were never stronger than you. That's exactly what this moment feels like. A German woman remembered dying of cancer. Her priest appeared in the tunnel, arms open. She almost ran to him. Then she heard a tiny voice inside. "Test him." One sentence. That's all it takes to break a trillion-year prison. Thousands used these exact words and escaped. Here they are. When the light appears, stay calm and speak out loud in your mind. Phrase 1. I am a sovereign being. I do not consent to the light or any contract. Phrase 2. I revoke all agreements, past, present, and future, across all lifetimes. Phrase 3. Take me only to the true living source beyond this realm. Say them clearly, with total conviction. Do not negotiate. Do not listen to, but you have to learn lessons or your family needs you. Keep repeating until the fake light cracks. These sentences work because the system runs on your permission. Remove permission equals game over. It's like canceling a bad subscription you forgot you signed. One clear no, and the charges stop forever. An Australian truck driver died in a crash. His wife appeared crying, "Come with me, the kids are waiting." He almost broke. Then he remembered the phrases. He shouted, "I do not consent. I revoke everything." His wife's face turned gray and furious. The tunnel shattered like glass. He shot into pure darkness and heard laughter, real laughter, for the first time. He came back and got the words tattooed on his arm. These words are your soul's emergency escape button. Here's the best part. Once you use them, the beings can't touch you. They literally lose legal right the moment you withdraw consent. You now have the keys. But there's one thing you can do while still alive that makes these words 10 times stronger. Most people completely miss this step, and it's the easiest one of all. Next section coming right up.